There we go. All right. We'll get started in about 10 minutes. And this is a Vinyasa practice. We're definitely going to hit the core up pretty heavy today, but it'll definitely have a little bit of a full body experience. So get a little bit of everything. Let's work off the fun of the weekend. I don't know if everybody else has been in the same boat as me, but I find myself enjoying lots of delicious snacks. We tried to make these homemade sticky buns over the weekend. They're like a strawberry pistachio sticky bun. And it was like a homemade dough. First time I've like done it from scratch, and it called for a yeast, which I thought I had in the house, but failed to make the discovery that it was from 2017. Yeah, so made the dough, long story short, didn't really turn out so hot, and then went to the grocery store in hopes of starting fresh. I went to 2 grocery stores before I realized that everyone is making delicious sweets right now, apparently. So there is no yeast and there is no flour anywhere to be found. So we went with dough that was from Pillsbury instead. It was good enough. Needless to say, still had a lot of tasty treats. Definitely need this core flow. We're getting started at 12. And if you wanted a little bit of music for your practice today, you can find me on Spotify. I think I will put the link on both YouTube and on Facebook Live. And the playlist for today is called At the Core of It Flow, or At the Core of It Vinyasa. Right, Leah? It's crazy. The things that are not at the grocery stores are kind of fascinating. Like I never would have expected for all of the flour and yeast. I mean, maybe everybody bakes bread and I just didn't know it. Yeah, if you have props, great. If not, no worries. You'll be able to do this practice without. Feel free to listen to your own tunes or to pull up the playlist that I have. I think the most recent one is At the Core of It Vinyasa. So if you find me on Spotify, or if you click the link that is in the description of this class, you should be able to jump on and enjoy. I was hoping that my husband was going to join us today and be a second yoga body, but he managed to wiggle his way out. He's not very interested in being on film. We got another 5 minutes. So if you're just hopping on, feel free to grab water or props, whatever it is that you might need for your practice. I'm going to grab water. I'll be right back. Don't leave. Okay. can't remember. Is it Monday? It's Monday, right? The days are starting to run together pretty quickly. Could make it today a really nice weekend day. It's gorgeous outside. That's next on my list. I'm going to go out and do some gardening. Five minutes till showtime. So if you're just joining us, today's practice is going to be a core focused vinyasa flow. So good little pace to it. And if you wanted some tunes to go along with your practice today, find my Spotify under Elizabeth Scollin, and the playlist is called At the Core of It Vinyasa, or you can click the link that should be on your Facebook and on the YouTube information about what we're doing today. Or you can listen to your own music or just enjoy the quiet. That's nice too. Three minutes and then we'll get going. Hi to whoever is out there. I know Lee is with us, but it's not telling me anybody else. So if you have the inkling, you want to let me know you're here. It's always nice to know who I'm practicing with. If not, no biggie. I'll just envision all of the folks in the studio with us. Hey, Amanda. Thanks for letting me know. Then I get to picture who's with us. All right. Oh, we still got another 2 minutes. So in this last minute before we jump in, friendly reminder that props can be incredibly useful, but if you don't have them, you can always get creative. You could utilize for a strap. You could potentially utilize a t-shirt, although the offer that I'm going to give you for a strap today, it might be a little bit tougher to use. If you have pantyhose, that might work. You kind of tie them off, but know that you can always skip or modify what we do with the props if you so desire. If you don't have blocks and you wanted something like a block, you could use a stack of books, or you could get creative with something else that I haven't thought of. And again, if you wanted to listen to music for today's practice, the Spotify playlist that I'm offering for today is listed on both the YouTube live description and the Facebook live description, but you're also welcome to just kind of listen to whatever you want to listen to as well, your own music or no music. All right, let's start to get comfortable and cozy. Welcome everybody who is practicing with us this afternoon. We're gonna come down onto our backs to start today. And if you're just joining us, this is a core focused sequence. So go ahead and come down onto your back with the soles of the feet on the floor to start. I'm going to turn on the lights so that you guys have a little bit better view of what's happening here. But you're coming down onto your back with the soles of the feet on the floor in constructive rest pose. And you can bring your hands next to your sides, or you can place your hands somewhere on your physical body if that feels like it's comforting or grounding. Letting your eyes close and taking a big breath in. And on that big breath in, I want you to press the base of your tailbone down into the floor, which is going to create a kind of a curve or an arch of your lower back off of the mat. And you'll notice that as you do that, the front body gets really soft, and that the space between the bottom of your ribs and the tops of your hips kind of spreads. Now, as you exhale, press the back of your pelvis actively down into the floor. So I want you to see if you can almost imagine that they were glued together as you pull your belly button kind of in and back towards the spine. Inhale again, let your tailbone press down, create that curve in your lower back. It's not much, it's just a very, very small, minute action. And exhale, press the back of your pelvis down into the floor. And start to notice that when we have a lot of contact with that back body and the mat, that we're more easily able to get into those lower abdominal muscles. That the navel is pulling back and up, almost as if you were putting on really tight pair of jeans and you're trying to suck your stomach in to put them on. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, letting your tailbone press down so that there is an arch or a lordosis in your lower back. And exhaling out through your mouth to press the back of your pelvis down. Then just let the body go. So let it be whatever your body is at its natural resting state, that you're neither forcing a curve or trying to get rid of the curve in your back. But we're still allowing the breath to move deeply down into the belly. That with every inhale, there's a sense of opening up all of the muscles around your abdomen. When we talk about core, oftentimes we just think of it as those abdominal muscles, but really the core is the section in the middle of the body that wraps all the way around you. Your core is the place that we get our center of gravity from, that protects, keeps us upright. So feeling the way in which the body expands, not just to the front and the back, but to the sides. It's a very three-dimensional way of breathing. As you inhale, it all expands out, it widens. And then as you exhale, there's a softening and a release. That circle kind of pulls back towards the midline. Just a few more breaths like that. And if it serves you to set an intention for your practice, maybe considering as a part of that intention, the idea of deeply connecting with both the strength and the wisdom of this part of the body. So if we think about the core, it's kind of that shell that protects what's on the inside. Then what's on the inside, that gut understanding, the way in which we have intuition. Maybe this is an opportunity to come back to trusting, that kind of ancient knowing that's within each of us. Take one more big breath in, laying here on your back. And then open the mouth and let your breath out through your mouth like a sigh. And then lengthen your arms towards the space behind you and reach your legs forward so that the whole body is long on your mat. Again, let's find that press at the tip of the tailbone down into the floor to flare your front body. And then exhale to press the base of your pelvis, the back of your pelvis down, and to start to feel the way that shifts how you can engage the muscles on the front of your core. Inhale, tailbone drops, and you're letting go through the front of the body. And then exhale, drawing your ribs down, the back of the pelvis down, press and hug in. One last time, we exaggerate. We feel that softening, that complete relaxation, expansion outward, and then the exhale to draw in towards your center. So let's keep that now as you draw your right knee in towards your belly, interlacing your fingers around the outside of your right shin. Lift your head and your shoulders off of the floor towards your right knee. And then lift your left foot off of the mat as well so that it's at a hover. See if you can round a little bit more. And then I want you to release the outside of the knee. So now you're drawing the thigh in towards your chest with the strength of the lower belly and your psoas muscle. Taking one more big breath and see if you can lift a little bit higher. And then draw both knees in towards your chest. Take your arms up You're gonna find a flex of your fingers back towards your shoulders. Reach the center of the palm up and try to climb your knees onto the backs of your elbows. See if you can press the elbow onto the knee onto the elbow, and then squeeze the knees towards one another. Now extend your right leg out and interlace your fingers around the outside of your left shin. Head and shoulders stay lifted. You're working to bring as close to contact between the ribs and the thigh as possible. Keep tightening that lower belly in as you reach through those right toes, and then release the hold that you have. Extend the arms forward. Keep squeezing the knee in towards the nose. Let's bring both knees in, arms up. It's almost like you were taking Bakasana, but lying on your back. So you might even find a lift of your pelvis off of the floor. A little bit more of a rounding, active flex of those palms up towards the ceiling. This time we switch without using the hands. Right knee in towards the chest, left foot forward. Find a little pulse of that left foot up and down. Inhale, both knees in, palms up. Climb those knees towards your armpits. Exhale to switch and find that pulse. Inhale, knees in, arms up, squeeze and press, and then right knee in, left foot out. Find the pulse. One more to each side. Inhale, knees in towards your armpits. Lift it up a little bit higher. Left knee in, right foot out. Find the pulse. Last one, both knees in, lift, 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 lift. And then exhale, let the head and the shoulders release all the way back down to the floor. Squeeze those knees in towards your chest. And make a circle with your knees in one direction. Should already feel a pretty good burn in the lower belly. We're gonna have plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and take that circle in the opposite direction. And then bring your hands next to the sides or to the backs of your knees, and you're gonna rock and roll yourself up into a seated position. Starting with the soles of the feet on the floor, bring your hands behind you, fingers facing forward. Draw those knees up towards your chest here. So we're starting not leaning back. We wanna stay nice and upright, squeezing the elbows towards one another to broaden through your collarbones. Now take your knees over towards the right side of the mat and lean away. So you're leaning back. Keep those elbows hugging in tight. Inhale, draw the knees back in towards your chest, rising all the way up. Exhale, switch to the second side, knees towards the left, leaning back and away. Keep tightening those lower abs, and then squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Lean it over towards the right and back, and bring it back to center. So notice if you're holding your breath. We want to make sure that there's still a sense of allowing the breath deeply into the body, all the way down into those abdominal muscles. Inhale to move back, and exhale to lift up. We're going to do 2 more to each side. Slow and steady. Nice work, drawing those knees in towards your chest. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Hands holding onto the fronts of your shin bones. Draw the shoulder blades together, widen through the front body, look up, and then exhale, round it. So scooping the tailbone and widening through your upper back. Let's do 1 more round. Heart forward, chest lifts. And then exhale, a little scoop in the tail, lean it back. Cross your ankles on the floor, bring your hands to the mat, and let's step back to downward facing dog. And for this downward facing dog, we're gonna really flare through the front body. So bending your knees, taking the pelvis way up and back, pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Take a moment to spread out your fingers so you're making sure that you're grounded into your hands. And then pull those lower belly muscles in again. Imagine there was a balloon where your stomach was that's lifting those hips way up towards the sky. So you've got this nice big crescendo in your lower back. Take your hips a little bit right to left here. But I want you to work to find that tone of the belly. A little hollow space, like a cathedral ceiling. Bring the hips to center or stillness in the center. Keep the bend in your knees and start to roll forward through your spine. 1 vertebra at a time if you can. So there's a sense of articulating until you come into your high plank pose with your shoulders stacked over your wrists. And then tuck your chin to your chest, widen through your upper back. See if you can take yourself all the way back, bringing those hips towards the sky. Now, the more you work to create articulation, the more that you're gonna find it really challenges all of the little places in your core. Bringing it all the way forward again, shoulders stack over your wrist. Take your time, no rush. Chin drops to chest, widen through the upper back. Take those hips all the way up and back, slow motion. 1 last time, belly up and in. Take your time to roll it forward. Keep the charge of your legs in your core. And then take it all the way up and back. hands back towards your feet. So you'll be at the back of the mat in a forward fold with your knees bent so that your belly can rest on your thighs. Lifting your tailbone way up towards the ceiling, relaxing through the back of your neck so your whole torso is hanging heavy. And then reaching for opposite elbows either in front of or behind the legs. Again, finding the tone of the core, and from that, lifting those sits bones up. Keep the neck and the shoulders relaxed, and start to bring the weight slightly more towards the front of the foot. Breathing into the back of your body now, so feeling up the back of your spine. And exhale, imagine any tension draining out through the top of your head. Release your hands all the way down to the floor, bend your knees, traction your feet away from one another, bend the tone of the belly and rise all the way up to stand. Head and shoulders will be the last things to arrive all the way up at the top. And then sweep those arms all the way out and up, bring your palms to press above your head. Exhale, let your hands land down in front of your heart. Samastiti, equal standing. Breath in again, reach those arms all the way up, bring your palms to press. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your hips and fold all the way back down to the floor, releasing. Walk the hands back to the top of the mat, coming to downward facing dog. Roll forward through your spine so that your shoulders stack over your wrists. Lengthening from your head to your tail, squeeze the lower belly up and in a lot. And then see if you can lift your right foot up to the height of your hip without letting your front body flare. So we want to imagine that we were lying on our backs again. We just kind of changed the orientation. It's as if you had the back body able to press against an invisible wall. Widen the space between your shoulder blades. Now curl that right knee in towards your right armpit. See if you can lift it up as close to the armpit as possible. This is similar to what we were doing laying on our back. And now you're going to drop that right knee to the base of your right wrist. Keep firming up that left thigh. And then squeeze it in and up, wide through the upper back. Exhale to drop it low, or inhale to drop it low rather. And then exhale to squeeze and lift. Let's do that one last time. Dropping it to the base of the wrist, squeeze and lift, and then take that right leg all the way up and back. Unfurl, extend. Left heel reaches down towards the floor. This time, curl that right knee in. Step the right foot all the way through to the space between your hands. Let your back knee come all the way down to the floor. Power up those inner thighs, so you're drawing inner thighs towards one another. Front foot and back shin press in opposing directions. And the arms will reach all the way up. Hands come to the back of your head. And you're gonna hug those elbows towards one another. Lift the elbows way up. So that squeeze of your inner thighs stays. That tone of your lower belly is going to support you as you draw a little circle on the ceiling with your nose. If you're working the lower body, it should be really, really challenging. You're gonna feel all of the quivering of the supportive parts of your body working to stabilize you so that you don't fall out of this pose. Making that tiny little circle on the ceiling with your nose, but keep the tone in your lower abs. For 3. For 2. On 1, bring it to stillness in the center. Lift those elbows way up. Drive the pelvis forward, but keep the squeeze of your inner thighs to level off those hips. 1 more big breath in, and then exhale, release your hands all the way down to frame your front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Roll forward through your spine to high plank pose. Exhale to lower all the way down onto your belly. Elbows hug in and back. Tops of the feet come to the floor for a low cobra pose. So peeling up, we're gonna work the back of the core now. So squeeze the elbows in tight towards the sides of the ribs. See if you can lift your hands off of the floor. Softening through your neck, lift up a little bit higher. Keep pressing the tops of the feet and the pubic bone down so your legs are engaged, belly is strong. 1 more big breath in to lift. And then exhale, plant your palms. Curl your toes under, fire up your legs and your belly. Press straight up to the top of a push-up. Left leg lifts up to the height of the hip. Keep the glutes squeezed, that front body closed off. Pull that left knee forward. See if you can draw it all the way up towards your armpit, which means you have to round quite a bit. Belly button hollows in and up. And then drop that left knee to the base of your left wrist. Suck it up. Inhale, letting it drop down. Forceful exhale to squeeze and bring it back up. Try to keep that right hip relatively lifted. Last one, squeeze it up. And then slowly extend that left leg all the way up and back. Step the left foot all the way up in between your hands. On Vinyasa, back knee lowers down. Squeeze in to rise up. Remember, you've got that strong foundation. So work those legs in towards one another. Hands come to the back of the head, elbows up. So opening through your triceps, let the head rest in your hands as you circle those elbows on the ceiling. Circle that nose on the ceiling. If it's a big circle and you feel really wobbly, it means that you're not creating enough support from the lower body. Find the hug so it feels like there's some resistance to the circle. Last one, lift those elbows way up, drive that pelvis forward, and then exhale, release those hands all the way down to frame your front foot. Step back to your bent knee, downward facing dog. Roll forward through the spine, coming into your high plank pose. Exhale to bring it all the way down. Again, let's lift up. Hands off of the floor. Pulling hands back, elbows in, chest forward, belly toned. Release the hands back down to the floor, curl the toes under, fire up your legs, press straight up, and take it straight back. Looking forward to the top of the mat, step walk or jump the feet to meet the hands. You're gonna come to your half lift, and exhale to your forward fold. Remember, using your core here is going to allow you to lengthen the sides of the body and to deepen the stretch into your hamstrings. Crown of the head releasing down. Pressing down through your feet, rise all the way to stand. Arms reach up. Palms come to press above your head. Move those arm bones back, maybe add a little back bend. Hips forward, rising up and out, up and out, up and out. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands release next to your sides. Breath in again, sweep those arms all the way out and up. Bring your palms to press. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge at your hips, fold all the way back down. Find your half lift. Plant your palms, maybe practicing a bent knee jump back. So legs together, this is key to really utilizing the core. In fact, another option, you wanna do it without legs together, you can squeeze a block. This is a great way to keep yourself honest. So if you have a block, squeezing those inner thighs together like you could actually crush the block. Little inner rotation of your thighs, hands come back to the floor. Look forward, pull that lower belly button up and in, and you'll notice that the squeeze of the block is helpful to tone up that midline strength. You can also do this just with the legs touching, but squeeze them together like they were one unit. Take a big breath in, bend your knees, and then as you exhale, you're gonna jump back with bent knees. Roll forward through the spine to your high plank pose. Nice work, finding length from your head to your heel. Now see, if you have that block in between your thighs, if you can lift your right foot up, but keep squeezing in towards the midline, belly toned. Lower your right foot all the way down. Switch it out, squeeze and lift. Left foot up to the height of the hip. Bring both feet all the way back down to the floor. Elbows hug in and back. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Tops of the feet to the floor. Let's lift up into a higher cobra pose this time. So keep pulling onto the block if you've had it. Toning your belly. Elbows hug in. Chest draws forward. Exhale, lower all the way back down to your forehead. Curl those toes under. Fire up your legs. Keep squeezing the block if you're using it. Press to the top of a push-up. And take it back to downward facing dog. If you have the block, go ahead and remove the block from between your thighs. Roll forward through your spine. Come into your high plank pose. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, draw that right knee in. Cross it over to your opposite elbow. So now you're taking your right knee over to your left elbow. Drop it down to the base of the wrist. And squeeze it in and up. Keep pressing and widening through the upper back. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale, squeeze and lift. One last time, drop it down. Squeeze and lift. And extend that leg sky high. Step your right foot all the way up in between your hands. On Vinyasa again, back knee lowers all the way down to the floor. Arms reach all the way up this time. And you're gonna cross just your thumbs. Move those arm bones back. Now imagine that you were diving forward. I want you to squeeze those inner thighs together. Start to round, hollow your navel towards your spine. And bring your fingertips down in front of your right toes. See if you can pull your belly button up, 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 and in as you widen through your upper back. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another. Keep the power of your legs. Inhale, rising all the way back up again. Bend your elbows, drive the pelvis forward, lift your gaze. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, take it forward, belly button to spine. Try not to lose your balance. The more you squeeze in with those legs, the easier it will be. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, elbows bend, squeeze and press. Open through the front body. One last time, inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring it forward. Round, 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 round. Pull the belly button up and in. Inhale, reach it all the way back up. Last time to bend those elbows, opening through your throat. And then release the hands down to frame your front foot. Let's step back to downward facing dog. Option to stay or roll forward through your spine. Come to high plank pose. One last time, we lower all the way to the belly. Elbows hug in and back. Inhale, let's come into our cobra pose. Exhale, lower all the way back down to the forehead. Breath in to prepare. Exhale, press straight up to the top of a push-up and straight back to downward facing dog. Now let's take that whole body forward. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Lift your left foot up, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your belly button in and up. Pull the hands towards that right foot. Now hug the left knee in towards your chest. Cross the midline, bringing your left knee to your right elbow. See if you can touch it. Maybe even suck it up towards the armpit. Drop it to the base of the wrist, and then suck it up. I want you to see if you can also drive that left heel towards your left glute. Suck it up. One last time, drop it low. Exhale, squeeze and lift. And then extend that leg straight back behind you. Draw the knee in towards your nose, roll forward, step that foot all the way through. On Vinyasa variation, second one, squeeze and rise, crossing your thumbs up above the head. Arm bones move back. From the strength of the lower belly, side body starts to lengthen. And then exhale, start to dive it forward. Bringing fingertips to the floor in front of your left big toe. Really widening through your upper back. And it's almost like cat pose. Belly button is pulling in towards the spine. Squeeze the inner thighs together to rise all the way back up. Exhale, elbows bend. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring it forward. Keep those inner thighs squeezing towards one another. Belly button pulls back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, elbows bend. One last time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, rising all the way back up again. Elbows bend. Big opening through the upper back. So elbows tip forward. See if that can help you curl open through the upper back. And then exhale, hands down. Step back to your downward facing dog. Roll it forward. Option to practice traditional chaturanga this time. Lower halfway down. Keeping at the bottom, tap your feet out right to left. For 3, keep your core strong. For 2, on 1, tops of the feet to the floor, upward facing dog, strong legs, chest forward, gaze up, and then exhale, roll over the toes, send the sides of the waist up and back. 5 deep breaths. Settle in. One more big inhale. Open mouth, exhale, both heels press down. Look forward to the space between your hands. Step, walk, jump the feet. Top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Sweep those arms up to frame your ears. Maybe crossing your thumbs out of the back bend. Remember to find the squeeze of your legs to support the opening through the upper back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands release next to your sides. So let's come to Utkatasana pose. Hips sink low and back. Weight is in your heels. Arms reach up to frame your ears. And for now, let's grab a block. Or if you have a book to hold on to. If you don't have anything to hold on to, that's fine as well. Imagine you are holding an invisible block between your hands. So arm bones are moving back. You're squeezing the block, reaching through your fingertips as you sink a little bit lower. Now bring the weight into your left foot. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. And then step that right foot to the floor. Keep those hips low. You're closing off through your front body. Left knee comes in towards your chest. Squeeze and round through your lower back. Step that left foot to the floor. Keep moving those arm bones back. Squeeze the block. Right knee draws in towards your chest. Left knee stays bent. Step it side to side. Maybe a little bit more of a pace. For 3. For 2. Last one. Exhale, release. Placing the block to the side. Bringing your hands down to the floor for your first Bakasana pose. So we're going to add a little bit of that Bakasana work that we started at the beginning, but we're going to take it into an arm balance. If you don't have full Bakasana, it's okay. Elbows bend back. You're climbing your knees onto the shelf of the back of your arms or to the outside of the arms. And if you can't come into the full pose, your work is simply going to be tilting your weight forward, lifting one foot and releasing it down. Lifting the other foot and then releasing it down. If you're taking full Bakasana, elbows bend back, create your shelf, climb the knees onto the backs of the arms, and you're going to cross your ankles. Cross your right ankle
in front of your left ankle. And imagine that you could rip your ankles apart. So your elbows are hugging in and back and you're squeezing your feet. Now unwind, tap right foot to right wrist, and lift it back up again. Cross the left ankle in front, squeeze, press, widen through your upper back. Uncross your ankles, tap left toes to left wrist, and back to center. One more time to each side. If you need a little break in between, feel free to do it, and just do the best that you can. Elbows bend back, crossing right ankle, behind left, squeeze, pull, tap right toes to right wrist, back to center. Left ankle behind, squeeze, pull, and then tap left toes to left wrist. Lift it back up, maybe shoot those legs straight back, land at the bottom of a push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, take that right leg up and back. Exhale, step that right foot all the way through. This time we're gonna come to high lunge. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another, rising all the way to stand. Press that right big toe forward. Really squeeze that left glute, which is gonna help you to steer the pelvis in the direction of the front of the room. Inhale, elbows bend, chest opens, gaze lifts, and then exhale, close off through your front body, bend into that front knee, widen through your upper back, pull the belly button towards the spine. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Try to keep those legs strong and stable. 2 more times, use your glutes, use your core. Nice work. Last one. Open it up, widen your wingspan. And exhale, close off. Release the hands down to frame your front foot. Straighten your front leg. Step your back foot in. So you're shortening your stance for pyramid pose. Belly draws in and back, sits bones lift up. Folding forward over that front leg. Relaxing through the neck and the shoulders. So upper body really soft. Lower body really working to support you as you deepen this forward fold. Last big breath in. And a big breath out. So maybe you're planting fingertips on the floor, maybe you're grabbing blocks. I want you to imagine that you could hug your right hip kind of in, or rather the femur bone, the upper bone of the leg into the hip socket. Tighten those lower belly muscles, and then see if you can sweep your right leg all the way up and back without bending the knee. Roll it forward through your spine. Let's come into that high plank pose with the right leg lifted. Exhale, curl your right knee in towards your chest. And this time you're gonna skate your right leg all the way through to the left. Now, if you can, and I'm gonna turn so you guys can see me. If you can, you're gonna keep that right foot lifted. Now, if you need to bring your right foot to the floor, you can. But as much as possible, see if you can lift that right foot up to the height of your hip. And then circle that foot away from the center line of the body. Press your hips forward, but close off the space between your hips and your ribs. For 3, for 2, on 1, lift just a little bit higher, that's it. And then plant your left hand and extend your right leg sky high. Exhale, curl that right knee in towards your belly, roll forward, step that right foot all the way through. Step your left foot to meet it. Inhale to your half lift, and exhale, release to your forward fold. Inhale, come all the way into your Utkatasana pose. Arms reach back to frame your ears, and then exhale, rise all the way to stand, maybe upper back bend. Hands to heart center. Second side, let's grab that block. Hold the block between your hands. Take those arms back. Squeeze onto the block. Try to press both the pinky and the outer edge of the hand onto the support of the block. Sink low and back so the weight is in your heels. Gaze is forward. Without standing, so without straightening the left leg, right knee draws in towards your chest. Tap your right foot back down to the floor, get a little lower. Left knee taps in towards your chest. Close off through your front body. Similar to what we were doing laying down on our back earlier. You want to see if you can actually bring your ribs and your thigh to touch. So lower belly has to be really involved. Side to side for 3. Keep driving that weight back, arms back. 2. Last one. Nice work. Release it all the way down to the floor. Plant your palms. We're gonna take a second try at playing with Bakasana pose. So palms plant on the floor. Knees bend. Elbows bend. Climb your knees onto the shelf of your arms, look forward, widen through your upper back. All right, let's lift those feet off of the mat again. Driving the heels towards the glutes. Widening through your upper back. Now see if you can drive your right knee in towards the center. Squeeze and hold for 3, 2, and on 1. Both feet to the floor. Take a moment to forward fold in between sides. You're gonna do the best that you can. So if you can't hold that knee in towards center, place your right toes just barely on the floor and hug the right knee in. All right, second side, pinch your palms. Elbows bend back. Climb the knees onto the backs of the triceps, look forward, round. Press up and off. And then see if you can bring your left knee in towards center. Squeeze and hold for 3, 2, and 1. Both feet to the floor. Hips lift. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Clench your hands. Step or jump back. Bent knee down dog. Roll it forward through your spine. High plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And exhale it back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breath in. Lift your left leg up sky high. Exhale, step that left foot all the way through. High lunge pose. Arms reach all the way up to frame your ears. Squeeze those inner thighs together, deepen the bend in your front knee. Come high on the ball of your back foot. Elbows bend, flare open through the front body. And then exhale, close it off, lean it forward. Just try to scoop the tailbone and pull the navel towards the spine. Inhale, open. Lifting the chest and the gaze. And then exhale, close it off. Squeeze front body. 2 more. Remember, we want to feel this radiating from the center. Center of the body is where all of the power comes from. The core wrapping around your midsection. Last one, open it up. Shoulder blades down and together, gaze lifts. And then exhale, hands release down. Step that back foot in. Shorten your stance for pyramid pose. Pull the left hip crease back. You might bring a hand to the back of the pelvis. Try to make sure that it's level. Keep sucking those inner thighs towards one another. Hollowing belly button in and back as you fold over that front leg. Stay anchored in your back heel. So if that back heel starts to lift, you might step that back foot in a little bit. I want you to feel the use of the core, where this is the starting point. This is the genesis of where all of the movement comes from. Last big breath. Find your half lift. Plant your hands on the floor. Maybe it's fingertips. Maybe you're on blocks. Plug that left hip in and back and find the suck of that belly button in and back. And you're going to see if you can keep that left leg straight as you send it sky high. You might have to walk the hands slightly forward or that right foot back so that you can come forward into your high plank pose. Curl the left knee in towards your chest and turn to the inside of the right foot and extend your left leg out. Right arm reaches sky high. Circling that left hip out. Tiny, tiny little movement. Now remember, you can have that foot on the floor if you need to, and then just hold the posture for 3. Belly button in and up. Tailbone reaching towards that extended right heel. 2. And 1. Placing that left palm back down to the floor. Maybe that left leg stays lifted as you move through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog, both feet down. Exhale, hips roll back. Downward facing dog. Looking forward to the top of the mat. Step, walk, jump through rather than just standing. So this is a spot where blocks can come in really handy. Gives you a little bit more seated core work. So you're looking to the space between your hands. Come up high on the balls of the feet, look forward, cross those ankles, bring it all the way through, and come down onto your butt. So if you've got blocks, great. If not, don't worry about it. You're in boat pose, chest is lifted, arms are reaching forward, point your toes. If you need hands at the backs of your thighs, always the option to do that. Tap your right toes to the floor, and then lift your right foot back up again. Tap left toes to the floor, and lift. Right to left. For 3. For 2. Last tap, cross your right ankle over top of your left ankle, squeeze, pull them apart. You can have your hands on blocks or just next to you, see if you can lift your butt off the floor. And lower it back down again. Uncross the ankles, tap the toes right to left. Chest is lifted, belly strong. 2 more. Stay with it. We're gonna feel this one later. Cross left ankle underneath of right ankle. Hands on blocks or hands on the mat. Press and lift, squeeze. Bring it all the way back down again. Last round, uncross. Tap the toes. For 3. For 2. Last one, ankles cross, hands come forward, step or jump it back. Taking it through your vinyasa, or simply stepping it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, take that right leg sky high, bend the knee, open the hip. Let's give it just a little bit of love there. The crease of the front of the hip might feel a little tense or tight. We tend to use our hip flexors when we do core work as well. So circle that right knee in towards the center. And then take that right leg straight back behind you. Curl your right knee in towards your nose, step that right foot all the way through. Let's come into our high lunge pose first. Arms sweep up to frame the ears. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another to level off the pelvis. Bend the elbows, curl open. Exhale, close it off. Inhale to open. And exhale to close. One last time, open it up. And close it off. As you open this time, spin that back foot out. Let's come to warrior 2, heel to heel alignment. Fingertips reaching towards the front and the back of the room. Revolve it, back hand lowers. Right palm flips face up. Let that left hand slide down the back of the thigh as you reach your right arm up and over. Still finding that closing off through your front body. Drive the right knee directly over the middle of the toes. Take your gaze back. Inhale, arms back out over your legs. Front leg straightens. Let's bring that right hand down. Pulling right hip crease back for Trikonasana pose. So right side body gets long. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Take the gaze up towards that extended hand. Take the left arm up and over your ear. Lengthen the left side body. Tone the belly again. Squeeze the glutes. Then with your bottom hand, like you were holding a giant beach ball over your head, keep lengthening that right hip in and back. Lengthening your obliques, your outer abs, as you reach your fingertips towards the space in front of you. Keep squeezing the palms towards one another for 3. For 2. On 1, inhale, arms reach all the way back up again. Exhale, bending back into your front knee. Find your warrior 2. Revolve again, back hand lowers. Right palm flips face up and back. And this time, cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Come up onto the ball of your back foot. And then take your right leg straight back behind you. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. Skate your right foot through to the left side of the mat. Pulsing that foot up this time. For 3. For 2. On 1, pinky edge of that right foot down. Flip the hips, rock star, or fallen triangle pose. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, rising high. And then plant your left palm down, extend your right leg up, stay high. Roll forward, keep that right leg lifted, 1 or 2-legged vinyasa. Second side, left leg lifts up, left knee bends, left hip opens. Big lift of that kneecap towards the sky as you pull your right hip crease back. Maybe circling that left knee forward a few times. Curl that knee in towards your chest, roll forward. Step the left foot all the way through to the space between your hands. Let's rise up, high lunge pose. Squeezing inner thighs as you bend into that front knee. Exhale, elbows bend, curl open. And then exhale, close it off. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Inhale, open. Use that lower belly for that round, hollow, hollow, hollow. Inhale, open. Exhale, find warrior 2. Back foot spins out. Revolve, back hand lowers. Left palm flips face up. Reach it towards the space behind you. Keep bending into that front knee. As you come into that front thigh, front leg straightens. Left arm reaches forward for Trikonasana. Keep the length in your left side body as you bring the left hand down. Reach the crown of the head forward, the tailbone back, gaze up. Wrap that left sits bone underneath of you. Now take that right arm up and over your ear. Feel that side body stretch. Keep turning the chest to face the side of the room And then lift that bottom arm up like you were holding a giant beach ball over your head. Keep the tone of your belly. Reach, 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 reach. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 2. Keep turning open. Last big breath. Stay for the whole exhale. And then inhale, come all the way back up again. Bend that front knee and revolve. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. And then take that left leg straight back behind you. Curl the left knee in towards your chest. Skate the left foot through. Pulsing the foot up. Belly button to spine for 3. For 2. On 1, place the outer edge of that left foot down and flip your hips. 1 or 2-legged vinyasa. Take that left leg straight back behind you. High to low plank. Upward dog or cobra pose. And exhale, hips back. Downward facing dog. Looking forward to the space between your hands. Step, walk, jump through again. You might come onto fingertips. Cross those ankles. Bring it all the way down onto your butt. So you're coming back into your Navasana pose. All right, this time we're gonna take it down halfway. So it's similar to where the core work that we started with. As you come down, you're gonna draw your right knee in towards your chest, right elbow or left elbow crosses to the right thigh. Inhale back to center, lift it all the way up. Exhale, lower, right elbow to left knee. Inhale, lift back up again. Crossing right to left. Coming down onto your back. Lift it up, legs straight. Right elbow to left knee. For 3. For 2. Last one, lower it down. Keep the contact between your left knee and your right elbow. Lift back up again and pulse it to the side. For 3. For 2. On 1, cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh for a spinal twist. Left leg can remain extended, or you can tuck your left toes over towards your right sits bone. Pressing down to rise up. Inhale, left arm reaches. Left side body is long. Keep your pelvis level to the space in front of you as you cross that left elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Another opportunity to really utilize your core. So your hands are basically kind of keeping you in place, but you're working to utilize those outer abs to wring out your midsection. Starting to take the gaze over your right shoulder towards the space behind you. Keep pressing down to rise up. And then as you exhale, squeeze the belly button back. Bring it up. Last big breath. All right, let's unwind it back to center. So this one, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. There is definitely a way that you can come too far forward and do a nosedive. So I recommend having a landing strip of a pillow or a blanket or a block. And know that you don't have to do this, but make sure that you've got enough space in front of you that if you do kind of come a little bit too far forward, that you're planting on your mat rather than on the floor. I'm going to demo and then we'll do this together. So you're going to unwind your legs. We're going to do a little rock and roll. And the idea is that we're bringing our weight forward. So we're setting ourselves up in that Bakasana shape. You're working to bring your knees into your armpits and you're moving your hands forward. So you're playing with this a few times. And then you're going to spring off of those toes and you're going to try to bring yourself all the way into your Bakasana from there. So it takes a little bit of momentum. Let's try it one more time. Rock and roll it, bring your back forward, and then see if you can land it in your Bakasana. Nice work. All right, let's rock and roll it. Come onto your back again. This time, when you squeeze and lift, you're gonna lift that right elbow to your left knee, bring it back to center, left elbow to right knee, right to left. Keep your belly button pulling back towards your spine, crossing it right to left. For 3, 2, last one. When you come up, right elbow to left knee, find that little pulse there. For 3, 2, on 1. Let's take that left knee over top of your right thigh. Right leg can stay extended or right toes can tuck over towards your left sits bone. Inhale, reach that right arm up. Exhale, cross the right elbow over the top of your left thigh. Left hand comes behind you, pressing down to rise up. So finding that length, the tone of the belly should feel really, really connected to the core now as you take the gaze over your opposite shoulder. Nice work. Inhale, unwind back to center. One more time to give a try at that coming down onto your back to rock and roll it forward and back into your Bakasana. So remember that there's a sense of momentum in it. Try it a few times. Remember, you want to make sure that you're landing somewhere on your mat. Hands plant, knees climb onto the backs of the arms, and you're using your momentum. One last time if you wanted to try it. So from Bakasana, this is one last try at an arm balance today, since we've done all of this nice work to warm up the core, is working towards Ekapada Bakasana, which is one-legged Bakasana. So blocks can be helpful for this, but you don't need them. And we started with this earlier. So knees climb onto the backs of your arms, weight starts to come forward, feet lift, and then right knee draws in towards center. Whew, my core is tired. All right, right knee draws in towards center, and then right leg extends back behind. Foot lifts, forehead lowers down. So the working up to point is just drawing that knee in towards your chest. The elbows bend back. As your head tilts down, you can start to straighten your right leg back behind you. If you do it on one side, you have to do it on both. And know if none of that is in your practice today, keep working with Bakasana. I know we've done a lot of that work today, but it's so, so powerful for building up core strength and upper body strength. Give it one more whirl, whatever you're working on. And then we're gonna meet with our legs extended out in front of us. All right. So, last little bit of core work before we start to make our way into some nice juicy stretches. If you have a strap, this can be a fun way to play with it, but again, it's not a necessity. This is also a nice one to have blocks next to your hips for. If you have a strap, you're gonna make it into a loop that's gonna fit around your body. So the way that this goes on is it's gonna come around your butt. This is the easiest way to do it. You're gonna bring it to the backs of your thighs and into the backs of your shoulder blades. So you'll notice that when I sit down, I've got myself like a little nest. And you want it to be pretty tight so that if you were to sit yourself back into a Navasana, into boat pose, it's like you were being held upright. So it's at the backs of your shoulders and right behind your thighs, kind of pretty close to where your knees are, the backs of your knees. Don't worry, if you don't have a strap, you can still do this. So from here, you're gonna bring your legs to straight and your hands are gonna be next to your hips. Your elbows are hugging in tight towards the ribs. Earlier, like we were trying to suck those hips into the sockets to take legs straight back behind us, you're gonna kind of do the same thing. So your hips are pulling back slightly, and then you're gonna try to press down to lift your feet off of the floor. So if you're doing this without a strap, which is totally possible, and you can't lift both legs at once, one at a time. Right foot lifts off of the floor, and then left foot lifts off of the floor. And you can do this with your butt up as well. Either way, you're pulling the hips back first, and then lifting your feet. Give it one more breath. Maybe you're working on lifting a foot and lowering, and lifting a foot and then lowering. Let's take a forward fold, bring both feet down. Inhale, arms up. Same thing, the pelvis is moving back, so you've got that tip forward, and you're working to bring first that strong pull of your belly button towards your spine. Chest stays open and lifted, so you're bringing the base of your ribs to your legs first. Reach your arms up. You might imagine you were holding that invisible block again. Lengthen the sides of the body and then take it forward, reaching for the outer edges of your calves, your ankles, or your feet. Relax your forehead all the way down towards your shin bones. Inhale to roll yourself all the way back up into a seated position. Sweep those arms back up to frame your ears. And then exhale, circle your arms behind you for either reverse plank pose or reverse tabletop. It's your option. For reverse plank pose, Fingertips are facing forward. You're pressing down to lift the hips, and you're trying to bring all four corners of your feet to the floor. Draw your shoulder blades together, lift your gaze, lift your chest. For reverse tabletop pose, feet are underneath of the ankles, hips lift, wrap the shoulder blades together, keep squeezing your glutes, breathing for 5. Breathing for 4, 3, 2, and on 1. Bring your pelvis all the way back down to the mat. Take your legs forward, reach your arms forward, and then very slowly start to lower down, 1 vertebra at a time, until you brought your head and your shoulders to a hover. And then release the head and the shoulders all the way down, and walk your feet in so that you're just barely able to touch the back of your heel with your middle finger. Bridge pose with the option to take a restorative variation. So if you're cooked and you wanted something that's a little bit more easeful, you might lift your hips and slide a stack of blocks underneath of them, or a pillow, whatever it is that you have to elevate your pelvis slightly. I like 2 blocks, so it gets a nice juicy lift. And then you can either have the soles of the feet on the floor, or you might extend your legs forward. Maybe one, maybe both. Maybe arms reach up above the head. We're gonna take just a few breaths, kind of stretching out the front body. Core work creates a lot of closing off. And as we're building the sensitivity of the core, a lot of times the hip flexors want to get involved. So we're working to stretch that back out as well. Bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, lift your hips, go ahead and slide those blocks out to the side. Maybe taking a traditional variation of the pose by interlacing the fingers, reaching the knuckles towards the back of the heels. Hips are lifted, chest is rolling up, and the back of the head is pressing gently into the floor. So there's a little bit of space between your cervical spine and the mat. Anybody who wants to take a full wheel practice, feel free to do that from here. We've got 5 more breaths. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, let those hips release all the way back down to the floor. Just take a moment to rest, to be still, to resist the urge to move. And after the bulk of the practice, we've done the heavy lifting, maybe bringing your awareness back to your belly and softening again. And just notice if the work of engaging the core has changed your connection to that landscape, that maybe you feel a little bit more able to drop into this kind of ancient, wise part of your anatomy. I'm going to give you just a little bit of time to invert. So if you practice headstand or handstand and you want to work on that, you've got about 5 minutes to do that. I'm going to practice a shoulder stand. So if you wanted to practice with me first, before you start taking those legs up, let's take the edge of the mat and roll it up a few times. And you're just creating a little bit more elevation so that when you lay back down again, and this is important where you lay down, we're laying down so that the tops of the shoulders line up with that crease, the top crease. So that the back of your neck and the back of your head are actually on the floor, not on your mat. And that way, when we lift the legs up, there's just a little bit more space between the neck and the floor, which will save us from the potential of injury. Start to take your legs up and bring your hands to your lower back, and you can start to walk your elbows in towards one another behind you as you extend up through the balls of the feet. So we're making sure that we're not tucking the chin down towards the chest. You're looking straight up at the toes, not at me, not to the side. We really want to make sure that the gaze is only straight up. And you're squeezing the inner thighs together and then really activating a flex and a point at the same time. If you've ever seen Barbie's feet, they're in that kind of perpetual high heel. That's what you're looking for here. Inner thighs squeeze, maybe even letting your eyes close so that the awareness is moving inwards. Drive your hips towards the space behind you, squeeze your glutes. Option to stay here or start to bring your feet all the way up and over the head. So you're bringing them onto the mat behind you. Once the toes come to the floor, actively reach the heels back. And only if the toes are firmly on the floor and the legs are working towards straight can you release the hands from the lower back. Try to keep those hips way up and over your shoulders. Remember, the neck should never be compressed. Bring the hands on either side of your spine and very slowly lift the legs all the way back up again. And then take the legs one vertebra at a time. You're bringing the spine onto the floor. And then hands come underneath of the glutes, palms facing down into the mat as you slowly extend the legs. Heels to the floor, elbows hugging tight. Lift the head and the shoulders up. Tilt your head back. Draw the heels in so that the top of the head is just barely resting on the mat. One last time to work your core, maybe lift the legs. Sniffing in and out through the nose like a dog. Big breath in, and then exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, bring it all the way down onto the floor. Bring your hands out from underneath of your glutes. Draw your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a little rock side to side. Maybe bending your knees and catching the outer edges of your calves, ankles, or feet for happy baby pose. So letting your knees drive down wide towards the right and the left edges of the mat. Back of your head and your shoulders pressing to the floor. Back of your pelvis, including your tailbone, staying grounded. Maybe straightening the leg into the hand, and then bending that knee and straightening the other leg. And then whenever you're ready, letting your legs extend out to the right and the left edges of the mat so that you can come down onto your back for your final resting pose for your Shavasana corpse pose. Hands next to your sides, palms face up towards the ceiling. Eyes closed. Take a breath in as if you were breathing in through your whole body. And take a breath out, letting the whole back of your body just soften down into support the mat with the earth. Completely letting go. And one last time, see if you can drop your awareness down into connection with that region of the lower belly. There's probably some warmth and some heat or some tingling sensation residual to the effects of working the core more deeply. So see if you can drop your awareness as if your brain was residing just in your lower belly. Imagine with each breath this kind of pulse of warm light from the very center of the space between your navel and your pubic bone, almost like a glowing orb that was expanding out as you breathe in, and then it was just kind of getting smaller or contracting as you breathe out. And then without losing that connection, you're welcome to remain on your back for a longer Shavasana if you'd like, just pausing the video or turning it off. Otherwise, coming onto one of your sides and pressing up to a seat. Let's bring the hands to cross. So you're going to place the left hand in the center of the right hand and bring your thumbs to touch just in front of that space between the navel and the pubic bone. Take a big breath in and imagine that there's a well there, that there is a deep well of power and energy, and that you're pulling that energy from the well up through the spine, through the crown of the head, and it's bathing the space around you like a fountain with that glowing light.
Just 2 more breaths like that. Feeling your awareness drop into the depths of the lower belly, into they call in the Taoist practice, the lower dantian, a really potent energy space in the body. Drawing that energy up through the spine, through the crown of the head, and watching it kind of billow around yourself like a little glowing aura. Last big breath in. Open the mouth and release. Bring the hands together and lift the thumb knuckles up to the space between your brows, then very gently fold forward over your mat. Thank you so much for practicing with me this afternoon. I hope we will get to see each other very soon. And in the meantime, stay good to yourselves, stay healthy, and enjoy this gorgeous sunshiny day. Take care.